Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and the greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, Venmo, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, if you follow the channel, this won't be much of a shocker to you because I did a video previously talking about how Bob Arum stated that a future fight with Terence Crawford and Jeff Horn is in the works for early 2018. He said around February, March, if I'm not mistaken, right? Now, the WBO on their Twitter account, they posted this picture that you see on screen, the graphic, and it says Terence Crawford is mandatory contender for Jeff Horn. Fight will have to be arranged within 90 days after Horn's next optional defense. Now, I told you he has a fight in Australia against Gary Corcoran. I don't know really much about Gary Corcoran, so I'm just going to assume, based on what I've seen on BoxRec and Jeff Horn's momentum and him being the champion, I'm going to assume that he gets the victory. So it looks like the great thing about 2017 being such a great year is we're going to have that spillover where some of the great fights and good fights that couldn't fit into the calendar year of 2017 will naturally spill over into 2018. I think Crawford moving up to 147 is a good idea. I mean, what else is there to prove? Yeah, he could fight Regis Prograis and guys like that, but realistically, there's no reason to stay. You're the man at 140. You had all the belts, which hasn't been done since Jermaine Taylor, Bernard Hopkins, those fighters who were pretty much no longer fighting, right? So you became undisputed. A fight with Regis Prograis or something, that's a solid fight, but it's not really going to prove much more than what Crawford has already done. You know what I'm saying? Because Regis Prograis hasn't really stepped up, and we've seen, and I'm not comparing him to this because I think Regis is actually very good, but we've seen guys like Erickson Lubin who talked the talk, but then he stepped up against the Charlos and he wasn't really ready for the moment. So I like Crawford vacating the belts. He did the damn thing and going up to 147 because there's proven sharks at 147. Errol Spence Jr., Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao, maybe, right? There's Jeff Horn's coming off of a good win. Some people have it controversial, but there's a lot more proven guy. Danny Garcia's up there. There's a lot, and I like it. And they're talking about Regis Prograis fighting against Victor Postal. So that is a good step up for him. It's a guy Crawford beat, but we'll see if Regis can beat him. You know what I mean? And as far as Mikey Garcia, that's another good fight that could have happened at 140. But Garcia was talking about going up to 154 to fight Miguel Cotto. So it's not out of the question for him to move up to 47 to fight Crawford if the fans demand for it and it makes sense. So I like this move from the WBO. Some people are going to question, what? Crawford hasn't fought at welterweight. How's he getting such a generous ranking? But I don't know how it works. Well, first of all, I definitely think money has something to do with it. Top Rank clearly has a good working relationship with the WBO. So I don't know if they pay for rankings or whatever, but you notice that WBO belt usually stays on HBO. And certain fighters who've had it, like Demetrius Andrade, who doesn't have a promoter as big as Top Rank, he got stripped promptly when he wasn't fighting actively enough. You know what I mean? I believe Rigondeaux had it and got stripped too. So I think money has something to do with it. But aside from that, Crawford was the WBO champion in the division below. So it really makes sense to me for him to move up. It's not like he's just some random guy who came out of nowhere. He was the undisputed champion with all the belts, including the WBO in the previous division. So it makes sense that he would get such a high ranking or elevated to like a #1 mandatory position, because some people, I don't believe this. Keith Thurman did an interview and he was like, Crawford got to get his feet wet and prove himself at welterweight. I don't I don't agree with that fully. You know what I mean? I think Crawford being undisputed, Crawford being on some people's pound for pound list, we know he's good. It's just like Floyd or Pacquiao when he was in his prime, moving up in weight. You know how good they were. So that if you're when you're that good, you can move up in weight and still be the favorite against guys, i.e. Andre Ward. Andre Ward was the favorite versus Kovalev in the first fight, and that was his third fight or so at light heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? So I do believe, to a degree, you have to look at what the person has accomplished, even though they have to prove and sow their royal oats in a new division. We know Crawford is good. You know what I mean? How good, or if he could beat the best welterweight, we'll have to find that out. But we at least know he's good and he was undisputed. So I'm not really bothered by this generous ranking. Actually, the WBC did it for Jermall Charlo, right? Jermall Charlo had I think the IBF belt, right, when he was at 54, but when he moved up to 60, he got immediately put in a number 2 position, and his first fight was an eliminator, and now he's the number 1 mandatory for Gennady Golovkin. So again, I think politics and money have something to do with it, to pull some strings. But I also think when you're accomplished in your previous division and you're moving up, they're just expecting you to kind of carry on that tradition and that momentum. So it's not really a problem. Like I said, it would be to me it would be more weird if Broner or somebody moved up from 140 to 147 and the WBO ranked him as number 1 mandatory, because it'd be like, wow, Broner just lost his last fight at 140 to a guy, Mikey Garcia, who didn't really have many fights at 140. You know what I mean? So something like that would be weird, but not with Crawford. We know the skill set is intact. As far as the Jeff Horn fight, I think Crawford beats him. But again, first fight at welterweight, we'll see. You know what I mean? I think Crawford's just too skilled for him, ambidextrous. Jeff Horn's a little bit sloppy, but he does have a punch. You know what I mean? He got Pacquiao's attention, I think, in round 6. So we'll see, because if Gamboa can hurt you at 35, then I'm sure if Jeff Horn catches you, then he can probably hurt you. But the thing is, Crawford is smart, and I think he's evolved his game since the Gamboa days. So I don't think he'd be looking to get caught and clipped with shots from Jeff Horn. Let me know your thoughts. I think it's a good fight and a good start to a new year. Crawford is the number 1 mandatory for Jeff Horn. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.